Pregnant women, they need to get the vaccine. The reality is the COVID disease, I'm not talking vaccine, I'm talking the disease, is tremendously dangerous for pregnant women. We see pregnant women go into the ICU, pregnant women go into the hospital. We see miscarriages happening. We see preterm labor happening. All these things that our OB doctors are always fearful about. This is what happens when pregnant women get COVID, and we need to protect pregnant women against COVID, and the best way to do that is the vaccine. And I know initially the recommendations were not super strong just because there weren't a lot of pregnant women who were studied in those initial studies that were done by the drug manufacturers. But now we have tons and tons of data from millions upon millions of pregnant women who have gotten the vaccine, and we see that it's safe. We see that the vaccine is not going to affect labor in any way. It's not going to cause problems, and pregnant women do just fine with the vaccine. And the best part is they give some of that protection to their unborn baby, and the baby's protected as well during that first several months of life, where it's unlikely that there will be a vaccine for kids at that age, even in the future when the age of the vaccine comes down. So there's no concern about pregnant women getting the vaccine, and in fact the CDC, the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, any legitimate organization is recommending the vaccine for pregnant women. Now I know there's been a lot of confusion and a lot of honestly misinformation about pregnant women getting the vaccine, and even talk about infertility. What I can tell you is that is not based on science. That is really based on people who are legitimately against vaccines. This is unfortunately where these rumors are coming from. There was an initial concern that there was a protein in the placenta of a pregnant woman that looks like the spike protein that we make when we get the vaccine and we make antibodies against. And because they look alike, maybe our antibodies are going to attack the placenta. Well, they looked at those proteins and they realized that that's completely unfounded. It's like saying you have a 5 in your social security number, I have a 5 in my social security number, so we have the same social security number. Doesn't make any sense. But these are some of the things that people were talking about. The idea of fertility, there's no vaccine ever in the history of vaccines that's ever affected fertility. There's no reason why this vaccine would do that. And when you start talking about, well, it affects the placenta, you don't have a placenta until you're pregnant. And by definition, if you're pregnant, you're not infertile. So none of this makes sense. There's absolutely no scientific basis for any of the information that's being spread about the vaccine and fertility. I've got a 13-year-old daughter who's vaccinated. I have no fears that I'm going to be a grandfather one day if she chooses to become pregnant. So I do want to encourage everybody, especially the teens. I know that resonates really with the parents thinking, I really want those grandkids. I don't want any effect on my kids. I can guarantee there's nothing to worry about with this vaccine, any of the vaccines, with fertility.